Today, let me see how to establish a wireless connection, that is Wi-Fi, for the laptop, that is client, with the access point. So here the client or the laptop will exchange few informations with the access point initially to establish a Wi-Fi connection. So first the client will discover the Wi-Fi network, that is by sending a probe request. The next one is the client has to be authenticated with the access point. So it can be done by sending the authentication request. The next one is association. The client has to associate with the access point. And then there will be a data transfer. Okay. So by completing all these steps, at last the data transfer begins. Okay. So here the first thing is discovery of Wi-Fi network. In order to discover the available Wi-Fi network, there are two methodologies. First one is active scanning and the other one is the passive scanning. So discovery of Wi-Fi networks. That is, the other name we can say as scanning of available Wi-Fi networks. So the discovery can be done by active and the next one is the passive. Or let me write it as active scanning and the next one is passive scanning. Okay. In active scanning methodology, the client will send a probe request to the access point. In this probe request, if you see, it contains the client data rate. Say for example, if it is a laptop, at what data rate it can operate. So that data rate and the additional information of this laptop will be sent to the access point. Okay, and what this access point will do now, it will check the available data rates, whether there is a coincidence of the data rate. Say for example, if it is operating under 54 megabits per second, the access point also should support this 54 megabits per second. It will check whether we can support this data rate. If yes means it will send a probe response. It will send a probe response. In the probe response, if you see, in the probe response, if you see, it contains the information of the supported data rate, service set ID, basic service set ID, and security policies. Okay, so in the probe response, so the access point will send a probe response to the client. In the probe response, if you see, the information contained are data rate, that is supported data rate, service set ID. SSID stands for service set ID, that is the network name. Say for example, my network name is, my academic network name is Kongu Wi-Fi means, so service set ID consists of Kongu Wi-Fi. Kongu Wi-Fi, that is network name. If it is a home network, we can say that home Wi-Fi. And then basic service set ID. Basic service set ID is nothing but MAC address of access point. And the next one is security policies. What type of security protocols it is following. So that information will be advertised from the access point to the client. Okay, this is a form of active scanning. Okay. And the next one, if you see passive scanning, every time the access point will send the beacon signal to the clients. Say for example, every 2 milliseconds, the access point will send the beacon signals. In that beacon signal, it contains BSSID, SSID, the data rate it is supported, and the security policies. Every time it will send the beacon signals. Okay. And once the beacon signal is received by the client, it will initiate the processes of connecting with the access point. Okay. So, the main difference between the active scanning and the passive scanning is time, waiting time. In the active scanning, the client no need to wait for the discovery of available APs. Once it is required means it can send a probe request to the access point and then it get an information. Whereas in this passive scanning, the scenario is not like that. It has to wait for the beacon signal from the access point. Once it got the signal, it can initiate the process. So here the waiting time is high to discover the available APs. Okay. So here the discovery means scanning. The goal is to find the available APs. Right. Authentication. The next step is authentication. De-authentication. Authentication and de-authentication. Authentication can be done in two ways. One is the open key and the other one is the shared key. In the open key technique, there is no pre-shared key. No pre-shared key. Okay. So if we want to connect to the access point or the Wi-Fi network, so we want to send an authentication request, we will get back the authentication reply. Right? There is no pre-shared key. There is no credentials. There is no, we can say in other form, there is no credentials. Just we will send a authentication request and we will get back a reply. Okay. The shared key technique, we have a pre-shared key. That is, it involves challenge and response mechanism. Okay. So open key and then shared key is there. So any methodology can be incorporated to authenticate the Wi-Fi network. So best way, a more secured way is shared key one, but involves lot of process. The third step is association, disassociation, and reassociation. Once the client or the laptop is authenticated by the access point, it goes to the process of association request. That is, the client will send an association request to the access point. So it allows the AP to have a list of connected stations. So once it is okay by this AP, it sends a association response. The association response, if you see, it contains the association ID, that is ID to the client. Sends a association ID to the client. And here, if the client is in roaming, that is, if the client, assume the client is now in AP1, and while it is in roaming, if it is moving to AP2, it can disassociate with this AP1 and it can reassociate with this new AP, that is AP2. So that is also possible in this Wi-Fi technology. So we can do an association with the AP, and then we can dissociate with this AP, and then we can reassociate with the new AP while we are in the roaming. And the next step is confidentiality. So how we can ensure the confidentiality of the data transferers by doing the encryption. So depending upon the Wi-Fi standards, we can choose the encryption policies so that the communication will be done in a secure way. Okay. And after following all these steps by the client will start data transfer to the AP successfully. So this is how the client establishes a Wi-Fi connection with the access point. Thank you.